Hi everyone, it's Claire Jarvis at Restore Fitness Therapies, and in this video I want to talk to you about why hands-on correction is not actually essential in Pilates. Now, there are basically two different ways in which as instructors we can correct you. The first is hands-on correction, which requires us to be in the same room as you so that we can come round, we can physically place our hands on your body with your permission, and we can adjust you into the right position. And the second type of correction is verbal correction, where we will just tell you what it is we would like you to adjust or change. And that verbal correction can be very specific, i.e. we can go to a specific person, maybe use you by name, stand next to you so that you know the instruction is intended for you, or we might provide a more general instruction to the whole room because there may be multiple people that need to make the same correction, or it just allows us to give some general coaching that everyone can benefit from. So those are the two broad types of correction. Now, up until a few months ago, when we were able to run face-to-face classes, hands-on correction was quite common, and I would certainly use a combination of both. And then we've gone into the COVID-19 sort of pandemic situation where we've all ended up teaching online and virtually. So hands-on correction hasn't been possible, and we've had to rely entirely on verbal correction. And I think for some instructors that's actually quite challenging. They may find it easier to hands-on correct, while others are very confident and very capable in their verbal corrections. But the point is that what we can do has changed as a result of COVID-19, and even now that we're just getting to the point where face-to-face classes can restart, we still wouldn't be allowed to come over and hands-on correct you because of social distancing guidelines. So at the moment and for the foreseeable future, we really are 100% reliant on verbal correction. Now, I don't think this is actually a problem. I've always been a big fan of verbal correction myself. I think it's fantastic because, like I said, you can provide general coaching to the whole room. There are often multiple people who need correcting in the same way. So from an instructor's point of view, rather than having to rush to one side of the room and then try and rush to the other side of the room and hands-on correct multiple people before you all finish the exercise, it makes things much calmer for us to be able to give you that verbal correction. And then we can see people adjusting their bodies, and we've achieved exactly the same outcome, but without rushing around the room, which is fantastic. Now, some people really like the hands-on correction and still really value that because I think especially for some beginners, they maybe don't have the body awareness to be able to correct themselves. So they like being able to feel the hands on the body and feel where their body should be, and they find that really useful. I also think some people in class like the hands-on correction because they have that absolute certainty that the instructor is definitely watching them and observing them, and they feel present in the room. So I think that's why some people really like it. But like I said, there are actually a lot of benefits to verbal correction, and it's not just the benefit to the instructor, but it's the benefit to you guys as participants as well. Like we said, you can keep your ears open all the way through the session there. It keeps you focused on, concentrated on your body. And one of the things I really like about verbal correction is it actually makes you better participants. It increases your body awareness, and because it makes you take responsibility for your own body. What I find can sometimes happen with hands-on correction is that participants are just waiting to be corrected. So they're not developing the skill of really feeling the movement and really understanding what's happening in their bodies because they just wait for an instructor to move something. So they haven't actually learned the lesson, and they're likely to repeat the mistake again. Whereas in a verbal correction, when you have had to connect your mind with your body and try to find for yourself the correct position with our constant verbal coaching, it actually makes people better participants. It raises their body awareness quicker, they take responsibility for their movements, and I tend to find that those people progress and become better technicians of Pilates much quicker than those people who rely on the hands-on correction. So while there's obviously a space for both of those things, I think we have to be realistic about the fact that at the moment we can't hands-on correct. So we all need to become better instructors in terms of delivering those verbal corrections. We need to become better as participants at receiving those instructions. And I actually think verbal correction overall is really going to be much more valuable to everybody going forward. It's certainly going to be a bigger part of what we do. It does obviously rely on really good quality quality and sort of clear verbal instructions as well. And that is down to the experience and the quality of the instructor. Now, because we run so much of our content online, it's really important to me that when I'm looking for new instructors, I will want to know and be able to have evidence of the fact that they are able to explain themselves extremely clearly online to our participants. And that's something I make a real point of checking when I'm interviewing new instructors. So you can be sure that when you're doing your online classes with us or your online courses with me, that you're going to get absolutely crystal clear instruction and you're going to know exactly what it is you should be doing. So what I'm saying to people at the moment is, of course, you can't have hands-on correction right now, but actually it's not essential, and you may actually find in the long run you are better placed to become a better technician of Pilates if you start working with verbal correction. So I hope that's cleared up a little bit of grey ground there, I think, around hands-on correction. We can get very attached to what we know, but I think this is actually a great opportunity for us all to progress by looking more towards verbal correction.